Welcome back to another episode of From the Back. We're on to episode number 25. Really getting up there in the numbers here because that's what we do. And there's plenty of games to be played still, lots to go over. We had 13 matches since last we spoke because we had 2 midweek matches last week, 10 on the weekend, and 1 today, which is Tuesday, the 23rd. So, how do we feel overall about all the matches, everything that happened, news, injuries, goals, all of it? How do you feel?
This top four race again, pretty interesting.
That's one way to put it.
You could say it's getting interesting across the table, up and down. I think you could make the case it's all over the board. It's getting interesting. More interesting for some of us than others in a bad way, but I digress.
Actually,
Give you a quick rundown of the results before we dive in. If I can find the right results. I can't find the results for last week. Okay, so Everton Man City last week. Man City won 3-1. The other midweek game last week was Burnley at Fulham. That was a draw, 1-1. Today's makeup match was Leeds versus Southampton. Leeds took that one heavily 3-0. And then now, speaking of the games over the weekend, Wolves beat Leeds 1-0. Southampton Chelsea drew 1-1. Burnley West Brom drew 0-0. Everton beat Liverpool 2-0 in the Merseyside derby. Fulham won 1-0 in a massive game over Sheffield to bring them within 3 points of Newcastle. West Ham beat Tottenham to become the best team in London 2-1. Leicester beat Aston Villa 2-1. City beat Arsenal 1-0. Man U beat Newcastle 3-1, not 1-0. This is embarrassing. Almost read that wrong. And finally, Crystal Palace at the death, 1-1 over Brighton. In terms of league leaders so far, we have Salah with 16, Bruno with 15, Calvert-Lewin, Son, Patrick Bamford, and Harry Kane tied with 13 goals. In terms of assists, Kane still leads the way with 11. Bruno is now tied for second with Jack and KDB at 10. And then there's 4 players currently sitting with 6 assists. In terms of clean sheets, Ederson still in front favorably with 15, Martinez with 12, and Mendy with 10. So currently, if you're keeping track, Bruno is second in goals and second in assists. Something to keep a watch on for the rest of the year. In terms of the table, not much has changed. West Ham slid back into a Champions League spot with their win this weekend, accompanying Leicester City, Man U, and City at the top. Down the bottom, nothing has changed yet. Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield still sitting in those spots, with Newcastle 3 points ahead of Fulham and Brighton 4 points ahead. It's getting interesting, people. It's getting interesting. So now we will dive into results from the weekend, we'll go over the games for the weekend, I should say. We'll hit those makeup games as we go through, we'll address them as we address those clubs. And yeah, we'll start in the worst place possible for me. Man U, Newcastle. 3-1 Man U. Rashford, Daniel James, Bruno Fernandes score the 3 goals. St. Maximin scores the lone goal for Newcastle. I think Fulham's win made this game feel worse than it was. Like, I don't think we played bad necessarily. I think it was actually probably one of our more entertaining games, even though we didn't really dominate possession. At least we were going forward and like creating. I think just this accompanied with Fulham getting the draw midweek and then the win on the weekend made it feel worse than it was. Like, in reality, we shouldn't win this game anyways. Like, but it's good to see him go out and, at least fight for something. Go after it. Not much to dissect from this one, besides Joelinton shit, as always. But the two main talking points I wanted to bring up was, one, actually Mike sent me the video on this one. I don't really recall. I think it was a ball into the box, it was a cross or something. Maguire got caught in no man's land like he does all the time. Looked up at the ball, turns around, sees Lascelles running in back post, and just throws like an elbow at his head, not even watching the ball. No review.
So there was another angle on that video. So he doesn't get him with the elbow, but he absolutely does put his arm up across like his neck. Um, you know, and it's another thing now we have to discuss about VAR. You know, how do people who do not get paid find these things compared to the people who actually this is their job and they don't see these things to ever review it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what
Like,
they're watching. If it's, maybe not enough fuss was made of what happened. You know, it sounds stupid, but like when a big fuss happens, it's like, oh, well, I guess we'll check VAR. But like,
yeah.
it kind of went under the radar. Like Lascelles reacted because obviously he got hit, and then nobody else did because I don't think anyone on the field really saw what was happening.
I mean, yeah, that could be a part, but because I mean that is the thing. I feel like, but I mean, there's the times where they don't check it, and like everyone's fine, and it's like, oh, they go ahead and check it, like, oh, actually, this happened. So
No, I mean that was my way of letting them off the hook. I mean, it absolutely should have been checked. If you're watching the game, you should see something like that. Like the fact that nobody on the pitch saw that, nobody on VAR is just baffling to me. And then the other thing, which I would say is not as controversial, like I think that one's just you didn't review it at all, but the penalty on Rashford. I mean, I thought it was a soft foul to call. My bigger problem with it wasn't even that it got called, was the fact that again didn't go to review at all. Again, I think the last time I talked about a penalty not going to review was a Man U penalty. I don't think I've talked about. I'm just based on my knowledge. Maybe I have talked about other ones. All I can remember is another Man U one not being reviewed, and now we have happened a second time with Rashford on Willock. I'm not gonna lie, it was a soft foul, but obviously the way things been going this year, it's gonna get given. But still, no review at all. What the, what the hell is that? How do you not review that?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think back of if there's every PK that's called, do they even look at it? I mean, like
I feel like they review it in some way. Like even if it's clear cut, they just
like a
do it to
referee,
make
like
sure.
you see the ref doing it,
Yeah.
or
Anyway, like in some form, they go check it at least and say, okay, let's confirm it or let's something. And like I said, the last time I remember talking about this was a Man U penalty. I don't remember which one. But it may have been even against Newcastle because that would like vividly stands out. But I don't know. I'd have to dive pretty deep back to find that.
they get their PKs. What can we say? But I mean, reckon I did. I even though throughout the game, you said Newcastle were enjoyable to watch. As a Saint Maximin does whatever he wants on that pitch.
The funny thing was, so did I text you guys about it, saying they should just play without a striker?
No.
Did I text that to you? Okay, I was texting somebody else and I said, before the game even started, before the lineups came out, I was like, I hope he doesn't play a striker today. Just play St. Maximin in like a false nine with. I'm not sorry. Just play Almiron in a false nine with St. Maximin and Fraser on the wing. I said I think that'd be better than putting Joelinton up top or Gale because neither of them have done anything. First sub of the game is Joelinton off for Fraser. I was like, what? Why is he getting paid to do these things? Why is he getting paid? It's like
He's a mastermind.
he's clearly reading my text or something. Like,
And just going absolutely against
Yeah,
what
he's like,
you want.
and then he's like, shit, maybe we should do that. It's like I forget who I don't know. I don't know who I was talking to, but I know I said it, and then it happened. I was like, you gotta be kidding me right now. Like, you know how shit your strikers are. You need pace to counterattack, which is what was gonna happen all game anyways. And like they literally finally did it after 60 minutes plus. Like Fraser should be starting over Joelinton. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, I mean he's Premier League proven. So unless he just has a little attitude with the manager.
Everyone has an attitude with Steve. Any other comments on this one, John?
No, I didn't really watch the game, so I'm not gonna lie.
You have another
Somebody
Fulham
put in
hoodie
there.
on?
I respect the honesty.
Yeah, I had this one.
Respect the honesty. I don't expect everyone to stick around for the late games when it's Newcastle. Not breaking my heart or anything. But we'll go to the second biggest game of the week. I guess first game. No, second biggest game of the week. Liverpool versus Everton, the Merseyside derby. This was the big one, 12:30 on Saturday. 2-0 to Everton for the first time in, I don't know, what, like 75 years or something like that? I don't know. Richarlison and Sigurdsson scored their goals. John, we'll go to you first. Because, yeah, we'll go to you first.
I don't really know where to start. I mean,
Start at the beginning.
obviously 3 minutes into the game is not great, but it's like you do like 87 minutes to figure it out. So, I mean, that wasn't the worst. I mean, obviously it's a bad start, but things could be a lot worse. But
Like
the
Henderson getting
whole,
injured.
yeah, I don't even know what to do anymore. I just stop put fucking Shaq at center back, so hopefully they get hurt. But no, speaking real quick on the injury thing, the people, again, I said it last week, Liverpool fans might be the worst because I'm not sure how many Liverpool fans there are. The fake Liverpool fans, they're complaining and saying that the physio and the medical team are the reason why we're getting more injuries and this and that. But playing like 3 games a week is not a problem, I guess. That's not an issue or anything at all. So they're taking heat for no reason. But no, that obviously didn't make things better. But Nat Phillips didn't play bad when he came in. Again, it was just offensively, it was just not going well. And I think Jamie Carragher came on after the game on Sky Sports and was like, "You can't keep using the Virgil van Dijk thing as an excuse." But I wouldn't really say it's an excuse. I would say at this point, it's like realization that if you're, I don't know how to explain it. If you
Conceding the
don't,
fact that you're not good enough without him.
yeah, it's like that, but it's not. It's like that, but it's not that. I guess. So Virgil van Dijk's your safety blanket, right? Like if you're playing, we all play soccer. Like we've all played with good players and bad players. If you know you have a bad player behind you and you're attacking, you're a little more nervous on the ball. Like, if I turn this over and they run at that kid, like there's a 90% chance it's going in the net. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was Mike.
And but then if you have that player back there that yeah, they're
What's
gonna
beside you
stop.
guys?
But if you have that player back there that like no matter what, they're gonna pull it out for us. You know what I mean? You play different on the ball. You take more chances, and you can see with the Liverpool team, they're not making runs. They're not taking chances like they used to. They're playing very safe, like I said, cross the ball in 100 times in a row because they know they have those 3 midfielders just sitting there and they can stop the counterattack every time by just sitting there. So it's kind of like you watch it and it's like
He's a confidence
watch.
booster.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. But it gives you that confidence of like, oh, I can take a chance. I can make a long pass. I can dribble a little bit more. I can do this. I do that. And they just obviously don't have him back there. And then Joe Gomez was our second safety blanket, and you lose him. And then our nap time blanket of Joel Matip goes down injured. So like, you just, I don't know. It's a joke.
And
Like
cold
Joel
out here. I'm
Matip's
losing all my
more of a-
blankets.
I feel like Joel
But-
Matip's more of a napkin than a blanket.
No, I said nap time blanket.
No, I'm saying napkin.
Oh, I know. But like you look
Newspapers. He's putting himself newspapers
freaking-
over you.
and then Fabinho slides in playing well, gets injured. Like Henderson's doing his best. Like obviously not as well as Fabinho or Joe or Virgil or Matip, but doing his best. Like all you can ask from him, he gets hurt. Like what the hell do you do at this point?
I'm
it's a
surprised more
joke.
teams haven't suffered from these type of injury like consistently. Like I know there are a handful, but just based on like the schedule from last year to this year in like the short off season, like it's surprising that more
feel like-
teams haven't struggled in this sense. Like I think City
feel like
has to an
it's-
extent, and you guys, and then
And
outside
Leicester.
of that, it's like here and there. Yeah, Leicester,
Yeah,
Newcastle.
but I
It's
think
just
it's
one
not as
player.
like. It's not as weird. Like it's just the same position over and over and over again. So I think that's
Yeah.
what makes the Liverpool one like just more stand out more. You know what I mean? Like if it was like like say a forward, then a midfielder, then a defender, and then like another forward got a knock, like you would just be looking at it like, oh, okay, like it's just normal. But it's just like every single person we put in center back is just like marked for death.
They're all losing their ankles, getting
But-
dribbled by. The other, aside from Liverpool losing for their 4th time in a row at home, the other big thing was the Sigurdsson penalty, or not Sigurdsson, Calvert-Lewin penalty Sigurdsson took. Judd and I kind of talked about it before, but if you didn't see the game, it was Trent came back, slide tackled, Calvert-Lewin took the shot, Allison saved it. Calvert-Lewin went to go get the ball, tried to like hop over Trent, and I think like his knee hit Trent in the back of the head, and he fell down. So they called the penalty. How'd you guys feel about that one? I mean, I think it was kind of, that was a very soft penalty to call,
That's
considering
an absolute joke.
there was no
I mean,
intent.
I mean,
well, I think, and that's where we've had so many of these calls in the past.
but hold on. I know what she's gonna say because you're
Can-
gonna
can-
talk-
can- can I finish?
No, no,
Can I
no,
finish?
because I know where you're gonna go with this. You're gonna talk about the David Luiz thing, which the David Luiz thing is much different because David Luiz seen the man and he's chasing him. Trent is
no.
laying on the ground, looking the opposite
no.
way, and
No,
he's trying to
I
jump
wasn't
over
gonna do
him
that.
and need him in the
I
head.
wasn't gonna say that.
There's no
No.
intent. There's no nothing. There's
I
just a
wasn't-
man
I
laying on the
wasn't-
ground,
I
and you
wasn't
decide to
going
jump
to
over
say
him.
I wasn't going to say that.
Like a mosh pit.
What I was going to say is he shot the ball and the ball was out in the open. Technically speaking, it was an opportunity to score. And by the rule, technically, even though Trent was on the ground, he stopped him from having that opportunity to score. That's how I
Without-
took it. That might be the rule in it. That's might be why they gave. the
Here's my
PK.
questions. Davinson Sanchez, right? When he face planted last week
Yes.
in his miraculous defensive play.
Yes.
If Lloris makes a save there, right?
Yes.
Ball goes out somewhere. Davinson Sanchez is still laying on the ground face down because that's how you tackle now. And Gundogan goes to get the ball, trips over Sanchez. Sanchez doesn't see him, doesn't even go to get up. He's just laying there. Would that be a penalty?
I suppose because he's blocking the chance to score. I mean, like I'd be
But-
furious about it, absolutely. But like,
But my
No.
thing is, right? Trent didn't initiate no contact on him. Trent didn't do nothing. Trent is sitting, like laying there. It was Calvert-Lewin's decision to like, yo, I'm gonna hurdle this guy real quick. I'm gonna step over him instead of, you know what? I'll just take the quick step. Like, yo, he contacted the back of his head. It wasn't.
I'd say you
Trent
could make the case
Alexander-Arnold.
it could go the other way.
I said that. That's what I'm trying to say. If there's a foul, it was on Calvert-Lewin. And again, like Liverpool did not score, so it's not like the end of the world. Like we don't win the game, we don't get points from the game either way. But it's just the fact that that was
principle, people.
called. Yeah, it was that was called, and then the ref gets told to go look at the monitor, gives a quick blink, and then he's like, "Yeah, it's a thing." You don't even look at the screen. What's the point of having all this stupid stuff?
well, that's why I mean, like I
hear
don't
that?
like whether it was intentional or not. I think it's just like it was an opportunity to score, and even though Trent was on the ground, you know, he objected or blocked his path to getting to it, and
But the other thing
Or
too is like
Tim Minoy.
because the ball is free there, doesn't Trent have every right to get up and go get that ball that Calvert-Lewin does? So like
Again, Trent
hypothetically,
doesn't
if
even
Trent was going
see
to
him.
get up, like and he wasn't looking, if he goes to get up to go get the ball and Calvert-Lewin jumps over him again, like
It's a
hard
foul on
to
Calvert-Lewin.
yeah, it's hard to say like that's Trent's fault. Like it's because as equal as the chance it is to score, it's an equal opportunity to clear the ball. So it's kind of it's such a weird situation. I don't know. It
That's a
reminds me like the
terrible call.
Gundogan one, like you
That's
know,
exactly what that's the same thing.
yeah, like
I
Gundogan
was gonna- that's what I
initiated
was
the
gonna say.
contact and went down.
Terrible
Doesn't
calls.
make sense, people. Doesn't make sense.
make it make sense.
Make sense of
You
this.
can't.
West Ham United 2, Tottenham 1.
Oy. I think that was it, Mike.
Make sense of that.
I don't know how many
Guess
times I have
who
to say this.
picked West Ham?
Here it is. Say it.
I was really gonna go for the
Me.
draw, but I was like, you know what? Let's have them show up. And what can I say? As you can see, my name here, second half FC. That's when they decide to play.
Nobody beats Lindino.
I say this every week. Stupid individual, poor ass defending. You know. At first, when I saw the first goal, I thought, okay, maybe Reguilón could get a foul. But I'm like, no, it's too soft to get
Weak
something.
ass.
Eric Dyer first of all, Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer are the worst pairing you could ever have. They were completely at least 15 yards apart from each other, and they're your center back pairing. Eric Dyer doesn't want to jump for the ball. That's fine. Let the ball go over you. Then Uri's blocks it, and then rebound, scores. All right, 1-0. That's fine. Then whatever. Can't do anything in the whole first half. Second half comes.
Yes, hey, Lingardinho.
Lingardinho. I don't even know why they tried to check this for offsides, but Davinson Sanchez just lets the ball go by him, and then just walks. Doesn't even sprint back. Oh yeah, let's see what happens, and scores. Uri's, I think, could have saved it, but he's been shit for the past 2 weeks. I think we're starting to see literally the decline of this man.
He's aged. His hands are starting to crumble.
Literally. But the only positive I could say is that Gareth Bale needs to start next weekend.
He almost hit that
You would-
banger.
I jumped. The missus' father yelled at me and was like, "What happened?" I'm like, "You have no idea." I almost creamed my pants in front of another man, and would have been so awkward.
Would it have been?
I
But-
think it would show a sign of respect.
Dude, I
Honor
don't.
me.
It was just one of those games. Tottenham plays like shit in the first half and just wait. All right, we're gonna. You know what? For some reason, when we're losing, that's when we're gonna decide to play. Now we're motivated. I feel it now. I feel it in my loins. Yeah.
They said we want to be the best team in London. West Ham was like, not today.
I'm gonna stop that train right there for you. But yeah, it's the same thing. They decide way too late to play, and then Gareth Bale as a sub comes on and does like the only chances of creating something. So
For the second week in a row.
the second in a row, which is
Are you nervous? Actually, I meant to ask this question to John as well. John, are you nervous about your Champions League spot? Mike, are you nervous about any European spot?
Champions League spot. Go ahead, Mike. No, because I was going to ask you a question afterwards, but go ahead.
it's always about me. It's always about me, isn't it?
No, because you
That's
can
about
turn
your
the question
shit
back
club.
on me afterwards.
Like I said, if we get knocked out of Europa League, then I'll be worried. But
Is Mourinho
at this
gone or
point,
not?
I don't know. Apparently, the next 4 games is like what's determining whether he's gonna still be here or not. But also, they're
Remember,
not gonna.
motherfuckers, you heard it here first. Sorry, continue.
They're not gonna sack Mourinho because if they do, they have to pay him like $30 million. It's in his contract. So
what you're saying is Daniel Levy is actually an idiot.
yes,
Fair enough. John,
mean,
to you.
Yes and no. I don't know. I don't know. It depends. Like Jota's supposed to be back this weekend, so depends what he does up front for us, and if we get Fabinho back early enough, I think I won't be as worried. But right now, a little concerned. But
Tough test.
Sheffield.
Ain't no walk in the park, let me tell you.
No. But I was gonna ask you the same question about Jose.
I mean, like I said, I'm for him being in. If he like I said, there's so much he can do, but it's at the same time. He even said it in his conference after, like, there are things wrong with this club that I can't even do as a coach. Like, there's been reports about players. I think I sent it to you, Shane, on Twitter. It was like players are complaining about spending too much time on defense in practice, and then they go and do that in a game. Like, of course they're going to spend this much time on defense if you go and do that.
I think I missed that one. I'll take your word, though.
Yeah,
Mike's
there was
I
a
so
picture.
embarrassed I didn't even send it.
It was a picture of Davinson Sanchez on the ground. Let's see. Did I send it?
If you did, I missed it.
someone might have deleted it. No,
That's
I said.
yeah. I mean, if you play
I
good,
guess I did.
if you play
Yeah,
good
Tottenham players
defensively,
are frustrated at how much training focuses on their defense. Tottenham's defense.
yeah, maybe you should play better defense, Tottenham. Then you wouldn't be
So-
on defense during training.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't know. I'm for him being in. It's all about individual fucking mistakes, and I've said this many times. It's dead weight that needs to be moved on from the club. However, there are reports that Nagelsmann is the number one target, and he'd be more of a rebuild, and I'm for the rebuild, but I don't know if he's gonna take you to that next step if you thought Jose could and he couldn't. So it'd be interesting. I feel like it would be kind of like what Poch did, but can he bring it to the next level? I don't know. Don't
Punch
know if
through
it'll
that
happen.
ceiling.
Yeah,
punch
We
through.
have to wait.
Punch through. All right, we will move on so Mike doesn't cry on the podcast. At least not that you hear it. Aston Villa versus Leicester, the Battle of the Midlands. 2-1 to Leicester. Madison and Barnes scored the goals. Traore on the other side. So there was, I'm gonna say complaints, but reports, insider news, that Dean Smith was unhappy that the news about Jack's injury got out. Like it mattered.
I was gonna say that was my point when you sent the thing. Like, whether it was 3 seconds before kickoff, an hour, a day, a week, right as Aston Villa decided Jack wasn't playing, Leicester knew they was gonna win and they were gonna go all out.
Well, here's my
what did
thing,
it
too.
matter?
They played two right backs on the right side. Pereira played right mid, and Castagna played right back. So clearly they set up for the fact that Jack was going to be there the same way West Ham did 2 weeks ago, when they put Fredericks and Kufal.
Mhm.
Everyone knows you're a one-trick pony. You're not surprising anyone when you say, "We're going to Jack today." Like, no, none of these teams are like, "Fuck, what do we do?" Like,
I wonder if they're gonna give it to Jack. No, don't
Like, they're
just forget about him. Don't worry
Yeah.
about him.
nah, no team's like, "We'll leave him."
Get
They're not
McGinn.
gonna go. They're not
Someone
gonna
get
go to
McGinn.
him. But if you notice, like, Aston Villa still wanted to do that and they couldn't. They were like, "Who do we outlet to? What do we do from here?" Like, when he's not there, you realize how impactful he is. Like, his ability to carry the ball the 50 meters every time they go on attack changes their game. Like, he brings it from about 10 yards outside the box to 10 yards outside the other box. No one else on the team can do that, and it's a problem because they couldn't get the ball out.
Well, the thing is, like Ross Barkley was literally trying to do it. He drift out to the left side and try to dribble up up that side of the pitch every single time. McGinn even looked lost. Like, Jack, where's Jack?
Has
Didn't know
anyone
who to
seen
pass it.
Jack?
But yeah, I was watching
Dean
them.
Smith
like,
was probably yelling
Aston-
at Barkley. He was like, "Jack, Jack,
whatever your name is." Yeah, without watching that game, like Aston Villa without Jack Grealish is
Worse than Crystal
Awful.
Palace with those.
close. Wouldn't say that.
And they had a
It's very
little bit
close.
more under the engine. I mean, in the engine than Crystal Palace does. But I would say it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But not to take it away, Leicester have been rolling. Madison, Barnes, Vardy, that's the trio right there. I mean, Harvey Barnes has turned it on this year. I want to say
Yes.
he has 9 goals, something like that. 9 goals, like 6 assists.
You are the stats man.
I don't have the stats yet from this week. All right, it was a busy day at work yesterday. But no, he's been killing it lately, and I'm enjoying it. You know, mainly because, one, I'm behind the sheets Leicester type of guy, and 2, I have him on my fantasy team.
How many assists did you think he had?
I said 5 or 6.
He has one.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4. You were close.
Don't ever come at me. All right. How many
Close.
goals? 9.
Yeah.
I will fucking destroy you.
You heard it here first.
But yeah, no, Barnes has been turning it on this year. I think it helps Vardy when he does because it fills that little void, not little, fills that void that Vardy leaves behind sometimes. And Madison obviously heard John talking his shit, and he was like, "Shut up, I can score goals."
Just laid his dick on the table for you, John.
That's fine.
Just like that. Yeah. So big things there.
I never said he
Watch
was
out.
bad though. I just said like to be
Or
Yep.
not to be.
to be a call-up player for England, he needs to score and just get an assist. And he needs to make an actual impact on the game when Jamie Vardy's not there.
Check Madison's goals. I want to say he's got like 7 or 8.
I was about to die. You guys are killing me.
Come on, give it to me. Stats of man.
How many assists do you think he has?
6.
5.
Damn, I'm good.
He has
Goals?
8 goals. 8 goals.
That's right.
That's hot.
That is right. Big things, but we'll move on because I could talk Leicester all day, every day. 2, Southampton versus Chelsea.
I
It was-
think there's 4 people on Leicester that have all their goals.
it's them 3. Castagna has a couple. I think Justin has like 1 or 2.
And Under has
Um,
maybe 1.
Castagna has 1.
Under has 1 or 2. Tielemans has like 3, I think, maybe 4.
5.
I'm like right there, man. I'm not looking at anything, I swear, either.
Give it to me. As he looks to the left.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't see
Write that down.
down.
Lick the pen. No, but yeah, I mean their goals are definitely heavily centered around those 3. But we'll move on to another team that has goals centered around one person. Southampton versus Chelsea. Minamino and Mount score the goals. I feel like in a way you could say we saw this one coming. We were talking about it last week that we weren't impressed with what Chelsea have been doing, and this was kind of a bow on top of that present. We'll say.
I've said all I need to say about Chelsea, so my opinion still has not changed.
Michael?
I will bring the middle line.
What the hell?
I thought
I consider myself the middle line. Watch your mouth.
I thought Chelsea played I thought they played well. Even though they had majority of the ball, they had problems being just that lethal moment. I thought their best players in that game were
Hudson-Odoi. Agreed.
Please don't say that TikToker.
who's their TikToker?
Mason Mount.
I was gonna say Mason Mount and Conte.
Not Hudson-Odoi. In his 30 minutes.
No.
That's
I mean
embarrassing.
that's bad.
Why would you do that to
I
a
don't really
player?
rate that move,
Honestly,
to be honest.
it's almost as bad as the Duncan Ferguson one with Moise Kean.
and to
That
look
one
what
was
he's
5
doing.
minutes.
He's now at PSG, killing it.
Yes.
Well, here's my thing. You not to take away from. I just wanted to address this point real quick. You Tommy Tucks. You've just come into the squad or into the club. You're you're trying to
Tickle
get to know
time,
these
Tommy.
You're trying to get to know these players, get them to know you, and within 5 games you decide to sub on one of your top youth players and sub them off in 30-minute time. I just think that's a bad move in terms of confidence, in terms of relationship with players. Maybe that's
That's
just
not
me.
gonna go well.
Maybe I'm old
Well, I mean,
school.
Well, I mean, even if he wanted to, let's say, have more offensive effort, you should have brought off
One of your 3 center backs.
one of your 3 center backs. Deal done. There you go, and then you can have more offense going. Even though when Ziyech came on, it still didn't even look that good. I thought in the middle of the park they were owning it, just that final third, and then,
Mhm.
You gotta give Southampton the credit though. Besides their forward giving up a penalty, There.
Horrible.
their Chelsea's defense had a gaping hole that they took advantage of. No matter how many what the commentators were saying, like, wow, that's crazy. Chelsea were dominating that game. They had the control of play, and Southampton came in and scored a counterattack, wide open on the defense.
The ball was
Whether you s-
played like at the half line, and I mean, it was gaping, and it got played right through two center backs. If you have three center backs at the back, you cannot let that happen.
No, not at all. And whether that's a communication or anything, like it still happened. This point is the way it should have happened. Move on to the next week. Luckily
I did
for
wanna
them,
bring
Chelsea
up-
won today for Champions League.
Yeah, they did. I did see that. They do have Man U this week coming up, so it's a big game coming off a Champions League match. I did want to bring up two incidences. First one, not as much as the second one. First one was a Werner tackle. Left his foot in on a tackle on Gineppo. He lost control of the ball. Caught him a bit. No yellow card. Thought that was a little. Thought it should have been a yellow. Second one, Conte. Lost control of the ball.
Yep.
Gineppo wins it. Leaves his foot in. Gets him right across the chin. Nothing. No red.
He could have
But
really, he could have
been
injured him.
2 reds. But
Feel bad for him for Gineppo.
Well, speaking of Gineppo, I thought Gineppo was the best player on the field. Like
Man's a baller.
the
Said
whole
that
game.
since last year.
That man, first of all, got abused, but second of all, he put in a shift. There was, I want to feel it was like the 88th minute ish. He got the ball and like 4 Chelsea players surrounded him, spun out of it twice, and then went on a bit of a break. Well, like right, and I think it was like 5 yards away from his own 18-yard box too. It wasn't like he was in the middle of the field.
No, he carries the ball extremely well, and he's very good on it. His dribbling is unreal. But no, I mean, a lot of people were saying on the Conte one, it was like, oh, it's his reputation. And I was like,
That doesn't
so
mean
your
shit.
reputation means you don't get a red card? Like,
Foul's
by
a
reputation,
foul.
then the Southampton midfield, Jankovic or whatever, shouldn't have got a red card on McTominay because it was the first minute and a half he's ever played in the Premier League.
True.
The fuck are we talking about?
That's the basketball thing.
Certain players always have that reputation sometimes, I think, because there are certain players who are like, all right, this dude's always reckless, give him a yellow card. Where it's sometimes like, oh, he doesn't mean it, he's always very nice with the refs. Sometimes they see the same players every week. Like sometimes they're gonna say like, oh, dude, you do this every fucking week, I'm gonna give you the card. Or like, no, I know he doesn't mean it, and they just go about it. But like I said, it could have been bad. He could have really hurt him.
And we don't stand for violence.
We don't stand on people's ankles.
Who did that?
Specifically that, yeah. But we'll move on to. I can't click the next game. Brighton versus Crystal Palace. This one, interesting game here. Hakuna Mateta scores the first one. Veltman equalizes.
Maybe the sexiest goal of the year.
And at the death, Benteke. 90 plus 5 minutes. That's what I have written down. I mean, how do you feel about this one? Ended up being a great game. Didn't expect it.
This is that Crystal Palace. We're gonna sit there and just give everything going forward.
Well, that's why I
thought-
put it. This is why I thought that Crystal Palace without Zaha was a little better than Villa without Jack. Is just the way they defended.
I actually made a note at like the 80th minute saying like Crystal Palace doesn't care about the win. I don't know
Secretly,
if
they did.
I don't know if I have it here, but I was like, don't
Christian
care about
did.
scoring again. Like, it basically gave up on attacking.
Christian was about it.
Well, that's the thing. So when I watched in that game, I thought Brighton could have had so many more goals, but they decided to just play beautiful and like it's back to the old Brighton. Like, all right, we're gonna
There's
make the
beauty
most
in the simple
beautiful.
things.
Yeah, we're gonna make so much beautifulness here, and we're gonna score a goal. And it happened once. It didn't happen for the rest of the game. Andre Ayew decides to just always. I'm gonna be the only one who sprints up the field, and then I'm gonna cut it back, and then we're gonna just go backwards.
What's the problem?
Andre Ayew is a fantastic player. So settle, Michael.
I'm not. No, I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying this is what Crystal Palace were
Where the
doing
hell
that
you
entire
want him
game.
to do? What do
Okay,
you
I
want
didn't
him
put
to
my
do?
stats
No
in
one's
for this
running
game.
with him.
I didn't put my stats in for this game yet, but I'm pretty sure I read online that in these matches versus Brighton, I'm sorry, in the Brighton versus Crystal Palace matchup this year, Brighton have something like 46 shot attempts.
Yep.
And 2 goals, and Crystal Palace has like 5 shot attempts and 3 goals.
Mhm.
This is
Efficiency.
as you were
Both are
saying,
wins.
Michael. This is Brighton. No, one was a draw.
Oh,
Get your facts straight, dude. All right. Now I'm looking at the stats. But as you were saying, Michael, this is the Brighton we expect.
it hurts sometimes. It hurts sometimes. Also, awful defending on Mr. Burns.
It
In the last minute.
hurts, but does it hurt because like them losing means they're only 1 point in front of Newcastle, which means they're only 4 points up on Fulham, which means Newcastle Fulham staying alive together is a real possibility. And for all
We
of
have to
those
hope that
listening
both
at
of you get the
home,
results.
it's Newcastle versus Fulham in the last day of the year. So I'm gonna die.
With fans at Fulham.
Yeah, with fans at Fulham most likely. We may be live streaming that on YouTube, so you can see me break down. It just seems like too perfect a moment not to. But I digress. I didn't really have any other notes on that game. I think we kind of hit them all.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, one more thing. If this is a very specific moment, and I'm curious if you remember it. There's a point in the game, left side of the pitch, Brighton have the ball. Maupay has it. Nutmegs the defender. Gets all this space in the box and just shoots it, a little shit shot right at the keeper. Had like a chance to put one in the top bin or anything. Just fucks it up so bad. Horribly.
Are you surprised?
Sounds like him. It's not.
Yeah.
I was just curious if
It's
anyone
not-
else saw it. Clearly I'm the only one. That's
Well,
fine,
it's
guys.
not. It's not the Maupay I know from them bees. Come on, you bees.
No, we don't talk about them right now. They've lost like 3 in a row.
They're still in second.
It's
And they're
happening
like
again.
6 point. Shut up. Shut up. You're not a bee. You're a flower. Fucking.
We
we'll
will
move on.
pollinate you, you bastard.
Yeah, you'll be part of our squad. But we'll move on. Fulham versus Sheffield, 1-0. Adeloma Lookman does the job. John, we'll go to you because these have been your boys since day one. In fact, you're
wearing 'em.
repping them right now. Get out of my head.
No, it was typical. Like I was nervous that it was gonna be a Fulham like 0-0 game.
Real possibility.
Just
We
because they
all
played
felt
so. Yeah, but just because they played like so well, so many games this year and just couldn't pull it out. But I think at the end of the game when you saw Scott Parker celebrate, you could feel it. Like I don't know if you saw him on the touchline screaming, but you could feel like how much that meant.
This is something.
Like
So
finally,
I'm against
like
Fulham.
no, but just like finally getting that point that like he needs, you know. But not Fulham's
go on a
look good for
run.
a few weeks. Yeah, Fulham's look good for a few weeks now, so it's gonna make it interesting.
Let me ask you a question. It's Fulham versus Crystal Palace this weekend.
Mm-mm.
Do you want Zaha to stay injured one more week?
If he wouldn't mind.
If it would behoove him. To be fair, though, this is
I need to have
another
words with him.
1-0 loss for Sheffield United. They're just good. I
It's
don't know what to
another
say.
1-0 loss. It's
Yeah,
another 1-1.
that's terrible. Excuse me, that was disgusting. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's really nothing else to say about Sheffield. I mean, look, we condemned them last week to relegation. I don't think there's much more to say.
No, that's about it.
It's endless.
I don't know.
It's inevitable.
Weird.
We'll move on.
Hopefully they keep their shit performances up this week.
They'll get to 19th though. I'll say that they'll get to 19th.
Reportedly, already, Sanderberg is favored to go to Aston Villa. We'll see what happens there. I'll bring you news on that. I'll keep you updated. But
be hot.
for now, we're gonna move on again to. So we had a game on Monday. We had a game on Friday. That was like that one game thing because gives you a little something to taste. I was sitting there thinking Wolves versus Leeds is gonna be a great game. Crystal Palace versus Brighton, shit game. I was wrong. It was the other way around. We're moving on to Wolves Leeds. Bad game, boring game, to say the least. The only goal was some miraculous own goal that Adama Traore takes a shot from 25 yards out, hits the crossbar, Hillier dives, goes off his back, ends up in the back of the net. What the fuck? How do you guys feel about this one? I mean,
I think this was a game of
I
a
think
game of two teams, and
you're onto something.
we're not going to play to win. We're going to play to see who can shoot it at the goalie the most.
You're so right.
And that is what happened. You know, Traore was like, "All right, Messier, catch this."
Banger.
Missed him. Hit the bar. But I hit Messier and it went in. There it is.
Yeah, he's
Accomplished.
like, I'm just gonna drive it in on goal, get the rebound, and then he scored. He's like, oh fuck. I think he pulled
Fuck,
like
he
his
took-
nuts or something too.
He took my rebound. Fuck.
I think he pulled something too when he did it though. He was grasping.
Who, Meslier or
No, Traore.
Oh, I mean, he looked like he put everything up to his ass into that shot.
I think he ripped his asshole. I guess we'll tie in the Leeds game from today into this because there's really not much to say about that one. But the Leeds game today was the Leeds you'd expect to see. Aside from the fact that clearly their groundskeepers don't know how to take care of a field. They're drowning it like a plant. Like a freaking cactus. But yeah, today, obviously, Leeds played Southampton 1-3-0. Bamford, Dallas, and Rafinha all scored. My boy Rafinha, killing the game still. He puts in the most delicious balls.
There's
I'm
no
standing
words
by
to
that
even say
statement.
what. There's no word. I think it was one point in the game. He did not stop his stride. The ball was coming down.
Took
and
the
he
ball
just
down.
took the ball down on his right foot, just put it in space, sprinting.
If they had
Looks up
someone
a
to
little-
finish those balls, he would have like 6 assists today. So many times he cut it
absolutely.
back, and it was just over the net, over the net, over the net. I'm like, what
To the side.
fuck?
To the side.
Like, just take an extra touch, or just.
No, those balls were too good to take a touch on.
You're
It
so
was-
right. You're right. That's a rule we have. Touches for pussies. Any other
But-
comments on Leeds, John? Your favorite team? The non-relegation club.
Unfortunately. No.
Could be.
Rafinha
be.
looks good though, and they'll look good in red next year. So
You know something we don't know?
Fulham's red.
I'm like that moist
Liverpool
Liverpool
red.
red.
No, Arsenal red. Speaking of Arsenal, Arsenal versus
We
City.
got
This
a
week.
freaking opinion.
Arsenal versus City in the snooze fest of the weekend. I feel like this was one where like this was Pep's conversation before the game. He walked into the guys. He said, "We're gonna go score a goal, and because it's Mikel, we're gonna stop after that. So we're gonna bury him early, and then we're just gonna let them think they're in the game." And that's what they did. They scored a goal 2 minutes in, and then nothing else happened really for the rest of the game.
I mean, City had chances. They were just missing.
Were
It's
they,
like-
were they missing? Were they missing?
Well, this is
No,
where it
Pep
comes
said,
to this is where it comes to your idea of
put it
like, all right,
over.
we're gonna keep them in the game. We're gonna keep them in the game. So we're gonna miss all these shots to make it like, all right, we're close. We're
Yeah,
close.
exactly. They looked at Mikel, and he was like, "Got you. I got you, Mikel." He's like, "We're not going to do it to you. Don't worry." That's what they did. And every time they got close, Pep was like swearing at him. That's why he didn't put Aguero in. He's like, "No more goals. I can't do it.
This is enough.
One goal. That's fine." So yeah, I think that's what happened. I don't have any sources on that, but you can take me as a source. I mean, other than that, honestly, like, I don't think Arsenal did anything.
Nothing
really.
happened.
Yeah, like I feel like Arsenal maybe had a couple chances, but other than that, I mean, City won the ball every time they tried to get it out. From the jump, you looked at the game. I mean, I think John and I texted and said this game's over after the first goal.
Yes.
Like you just looked. City
I
was
thought it
ready.
was-
Arsenal wasn't.
Yeah, I thought it was over because it was going to be like 3-4 goals put in by City, but I didn't realize it was over and the fact that like nothing else was going to happen the rest of the
Because
game.
you don't have the Pep feed right here. All right, I'm in his brain.
He's in my
Pep,
he's in my
Pep
ear.
wore like a sweatshirt to the game. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
It's a scrimmage at this
Yeah, he was
point.
like
It's a scrimmage.
Sunday league.
It's
On
a
a
friendly
Sunday.
match.
On a Sunday. You didn't even dress up, man. All right, moving on to the last match of the weekend. Burnley versus West Brom. Yeah. I called Arsenal Man City the snooze fest.
See you
And
guys
Burnley
next
West
week.
Brom was 0-0. This was a prime example of bad football. I talk up Burnley for 2 weeks in a row, and then they come out and do this. And it reminds me why I don't talk them up.
It's only
They
right.
almost lost to a 10-man West Brom. If Pereira wasn't a 2-footed left foot, he would have scored a goal.
I swear, I think there were twice. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna keep shooting bottom left one day. Pope's gonna miss it.
One day they'll
He's
go.
on- He's gonna eventually. He's gonna think I'm going the opposite side, so I'm just gonna keep going right there.
Eventually he'll think I'll change it up, but I won't. And then I'll get him. But no, I mean, just in general. I mean, that was just like the epitome of the entire game. I don't know if Burnley had any real chances. Let me see. Let me see if I put those.
Actually, so this is what I was gonna actually bring up. So West Brom got the red card for the handball.
Mhm.
Opportunity to score, and then there was a point where the ball came in off of a header, and I think it's West Brom's captain. He's a center back.
Partly.
Maybe he has a beard.
Yeah.
It hit
Looks
it,
fake.
bounced on the ground,
Maybe
and then
bearded.
Maybe because of the beard.
anyways, the man was the ball came up
Focus.
from the air, hit the ground, and went off his arm. They did not call it a PK, and I was like, I think that could have been a PK. It wasn't like his arms were by his side. He was getting ready to chest it, but he missed it, and it hit his arm, and his arms were out all the way out here. VAR.
Sounds pretty clean cut to me.
That's an
No
obvious
argument
no
here,
call.
Mike. But to put it into perspective, Burnley had one shot on net
Burnley is the worst.
because they had 60% possession. They were like, "What do we do?" They were looking over at Sean. They're like, "What do we do? Do we get a red card? Like, do we get a red to even things up because we don't know how to play up a man? What do we do?" And instead, they just took a point and walked home. That was
Awful.
awful.
He was just like, give them the ball on a counter and show them you can play defense.
He was like, "Give it away on purpose. Give it away on purpose." But I mean, other than that, the only, like I said, there was the Burnley Fulham game, which was 1-1, and again, there wasn't much that happened there. Just kind of what you'd expect from that game. And then on the other hand, it was City Everton also played last week, 3-1. Foden, Mahrez, Bernardo scored, and then Richarlison for Everton. Again, that one went about as you'd expect it to. That's why we're not going to dwell on them too long. Continue to keep these episodes on the shorter length. But yeah, I mean that was so rundown of this week's games. John, you mentioned you had another daft prediction you wanted to bring up.
Don't
So
take it
please
back.
Yeah.
You can't text us. And
No, I'm not.
Lay
Why would
the
I take it back?
daftness right on me.
I am.
Hit me with it.
say it.
Fulham, Newcastle.
Don't. We don't have to make predictions that far out. Like, whatever, man. Go ahead.
And Brighton all will be safe from relegation.
Wait, who's going down then?
What?
I haven't decided yet. This is
Well, that's like all.
You
three
can't. You
teams.
can't say that, and it's just like, and then
No, no, no.
don't have someone replacing those spots.
it's tied between the two teams right now. Can I get one more week? Jeez.
Nope. No, if you're gonna make a daft prediction like that, you come with the facts or you come with
All
nothing.
right.
There's only like two other teams that could possibly go down.
Yeah, Southampton or Burnley. I haven't
I
picked
was
yet.
gonna say Crystal Palace, but
Crystal Palace is ahead of Southampton right now. I'm just letting you know the facts.
Zip it.
Who is it? Who's going down?
Give me a sec.
Pick it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now. Now.
Burnley.
Now.
Burnley. Ooh. You hear that, Sean? You hear that? Sorry.
You hear that, American owners? You're going down.
definitely gonna feel what it's like to be European.
Burnley
anyway.
have Leicester, Arsenal, Everton, Southampton, Newcastle, Man U, Wolves, West Ham, Fulham, Leeds. Oh, I can't see the last names. Liverpool, and then Sheffield to end the year.
Oh my God! So it's Newcastle, Fulham, and Sheffield, Burnley to end the year. I hope that if I hope Fulham and Newcastle both need a point to stay alive, and they just make a gentleman's agreement with Scotty. Like, no one's gonna score a goal today. Scotty's like, I'm an ex-Newcastle mate, and then Newcastle's like, you're an ex-Newcastle mate. 0-0. Walk away. They just concede the game. 1-1.
What is that? It's like basically they just go back and forth, pass it back to the goalkeeper. Areola kicks it forward, and then
And then you see it. It's
Sean
coming in.
heads it
Darlow
back to
messes up, drops the ball in his own net with 1 minute to go. We lose because we can't hit the net after that. They're like, go score. There he goes. Who's that? Joe Linton on the back post. No one's there. Heads it over. We get relegated.
You heard it here first.
I'm just predicting the end here. Oh God. Oh no.
That'd be a
Just all those
huge
run of teams,
turn of
though.
table.
Not really. You look at the table. If you look at the table, it's not that
I'm looking at it.
it's not that big.
It's a possibility. It's a real possibility.
Well, Burnley's 6 point ups on Fulham. If Fulham win the game against Burnley when they play them, then it's a 3-point thing. And then I just listed off. Burnley basically have to play the top half of the table the rest of the year. They played all the lower bottom teams already. So I mean,
But the thing is with Burnley is the fact that you'd expect them to lose, but at the same time they might pull out results.
they've got
somehow.
their results, Mike. It's over. Okay, they've done enough.
They're playing Tottenham.
Never,
so
ever.
anything could happen.
I noticed I did not list you guys on the teams that could beat them.
Skipped that one real quick, did you? Oh no. This is going to be the most stressful months of my life. And I graduated
wish it-
college.
Yeah, pray for you. Mm-mm.
Well, Burnley lost to
Must be real
Bournemouth in the
tough
FA
to
Cup,
be
so
fighting for European League.
it's less stressful than what you're about to go through.
I go through this every year. I know how to take care of myself. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine.
Can I ask you a question? How do you take
You
care of
must.
your mental health supporting Newcastle?
That's a great question. To put it simply, you try not to let anything. Try not to let anything hurt you, and expect nothing.
Try not to have
Get
hope.
excited about nothing, and just don't enjoy any football, and then it can never hurt you.
So passionate. I mean,
So
I would
passionate.
say
You can hear the passion in his voice.
I would say it would be. It's not
Setting a
equally
team
hard
aside.
because obviously, like Shane's team refuses to spend money, but your team spends money, and your team still underperforms every year. So I assume being a Tottenham fan can't be much easier.
Well, I get asked questions of why are you so pessimistic? And I said, what's there to be optimistic for? We haven't won anything.
Where is the light?
Hope kills you.
Hope,
No, kill hope
kills you,
first.
absolutely. And then you have despair, and you live with it.
Despair only comes if you had hope at one point. So I'm looking right into the camera right now for all of you who's watching. I am dead inside.
Well, you
That's
heard
all
it
we
here
got.
first. That's all we got. Please listen, like, share it to your friends, share it to your dogs, your cats, anyone who would listen to us that you would listen to.
If you're ever in pain and you want to know what it's like to deal with it, we're the place for you. Dealing with mental health? Actually, no,
Us.
don't listen to us
Mm.
because we deal with it
No.
too, just on a different level, a deep dark level. Bit of despair. Mike, you close this out. You continue with your thing. I'm in an emotional state right now.
Yes. Glad to have you guys aboard. It's been a great time. Let's keep it going. I think it always is a great reminder to always keep it strictly bangers.